going to talk about our OpenACC status. So I actually took over as the chief technologist for the programming environment the first of this year. And since then, we have been able to change direction that was incorrectly decided earlier a year or so ago. And two of those things were the whole idea of not supporting OpenACC beyond 2.0 and no longer supporting NVIDIA after V100. And so I'm gonna kind of tell you where we are on those. And just as a side, I will be relocating to Portugal in 2 weeks. I will still be working. I'm not retiring. I'm just going to the place where I am going to retire. Okay, so when I talk about the Cray programming environment, I'm really talking about a very significant ecosystem that includes compiler. It includes MPI, a very good MPI. It includes excellent profiling tools, scientific libraries for both GPUs and CPUs, Cray debugging tools, and we now have a containerized Cray programming environment. We actually have 9 sites who are evaluating the containerized Cray programming environment that runs on everything from laptop all the way up to your main engine. Okay, so we resumed support for OpenACC probably in June. Now, we should have made better progress, but we have a ton of work that we're doing for Coral 2. And so our group is stretched pretty thin. And currently we are at OpenACC 2.7. And we're working pretty hard on several very large apps in Europe, getting ready for Lumi. We should have support for 3.0 by June. And then we will continue with support up to now 3.2 and beyond. And we will be generating code for both AMD and NVIDIA for Fortran only. So we will not be handling OpenACC for C++. Okay, we're also will be supplying OpenACC and OpenMP offload for A100s starting in June. And we, in matter of fact, if you think about it, we are the only vendor who is able to take all the popular, once we come up to speed with OpenACC, all the popular parallel programming paradigms and generate code for any machine, including Intel, AMD, NVIDIA, and ARM. And we are currently, by the end of 2022, we will be at the then current Fortran standard. Right now, we're at Fortran 18. And we will also be at the current C and C++ standards. We're currently at C++ 17. We will be probably at OpenMP offload 5.1. We're currently at 5.0. And we'll be up to speed with OpenACC. So I think that is all I had. Questions?
Well, that's quite a lot, I would say. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Are there questions? Okay, yeah. Let's see. Stefan asks, how about support for Intel GPUs?
That is being thought about. And the bottom line is, if there is enough of a need, we will support Intel GPUs. But at this point, we're not sure of the requirement.
Thank you. Guido asks, is the limitation to Fortran a technical limitation?
It has to do with there not being a Clang OpenACC parser. So once Clang has OpenACC, we can then support OpenACC with C++.
Thank you. So Ron asks, will HPE support Fortran do concurrent GPU offloading, CPU multi-threading?
So the answer is yes.
Okay. Georgios, okay, more?
Yeah, one thing, so we're very concerned about do concurrent because the applications we've been working on primarily, you're really parallelizing do loops that have calls in them. And once you have calls in a parallel loop, you start having horrendous problems with global variables. And I'm wondering if users really understand the issues with global variables. And so one of the things that we're actually looking at doing is being able to analyze a loop with do concurrent on it with subroutine calls and telling the user if in fact it is parallel with our reveal technology.
Okay. Georgios asks, hi, 2 questions. So for users of AMD GPUs with no Fortran code, we should tell them to avoid OpenACC, right?
Right.
Okay. Was that 1 question or 2 questions, Georgios? Yes.
The next chapter.
Oh, okay. Let's see. What else do we have? Okay. So Dave asked, when John Levesque started this presentation, I thought he said no NVIDIA support after V100, but at the end of the presentation, he said A100 support is planned. Did I mishear him at the beginning?
What I said at the beginning is a year and a half ago, Cray decided to drop support for NVIDIA. And so we did not have support for A100. After I took over, I convinced management that we should pick up OpenACC and support A100 and future NVIDIA GPUs. And management has approved that. and allocated recs for that.
Okay, I think that's clear. And Georgios has a second question. Will there be any other way through GNU for OpenACC support, the ORNL Siemens contract? Do you follow the status? I guess, do you follow the status of the work going on in GNU with GNU that ORNL contracted with? Is that right, Georgios?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, okay.
That's correct.
Okay. Stefan, which is the version of CCE that supports OpenACC 2.7?
It is 12.0.
Okay.
It's just that I'm working on Spock with 12.0 and it doesn't, it says that it doesn't support the ACC serial directive.
Okay, let me check on that.
Okay.
And because, you know, I was told that 2.7, but I could be 2.7 minus a couple things, but I'll check on that, Stefan.
All right, thanks.
All right. And then Jeff Larkin has a comment at the WACPAD workshop this week. There were a few talks using CCE on AMD GPUs. If folks are interested, they should check those out. And then, yes, and Sunita says that Brandon Cook at Lawrence Berkeley Lab used 12.0 on Spock, and we can check into that. Okay, John, thank you very much. Very strong contribution.